Donald Trump says the best way to make Iran great again is for the protesters to win and the regime to come down. How do you do that? Whatever action we're going to take, Mr. President, needs to embolden the protesters and scare the hell out of the regime. If I were you, Mr. President, I would kill the leadership that are killing the people. You've got to end this. If it ends well, then peace breaks out. All the state-sponsored terrorism activity stops. Hezbollah, Hamas, they go away. Israel and Saudi make peace, a new day in the Mideast. If the Ayatollah hangs on, it's a giant Obama step backward. I have faith in you, Mr. President. I have trust in you. You are the Ronald Reagan plus of our time.
But Graham isn't the only senator who's cheering for U.S. military intervention. Take a look.
The president saying he's now considering taking military action inside Iran. Do you want the U.S. to get involved like that?
Sure, absolutely. And now if it continues to make more sense, absolutely. I think I was the only Democrat that fully supported our strike of their Iranian nuclear facilities last year. And now by then, without those kinds of strikes, Iran could have acquired a nuclear bomb.
Even former House Speaker Newt Gingrich is calling for strikes on Iran. Today, he wrote on X, "It is not enough to sympathize with the Iranian people in their struggle to get free from the dictatorship, which is clearly killing dissidents and fighting for its very survival. It is not enough to have government leaders publicly talking about support for the Iranian people, but failing to do anything real. In a few weeks, either the dictatorship will be gone or the Iranian people will have been defeated and suppressed, and a campaign to find the ringleaders and kill them will have begun. There is no middle ground. The goal of every Western leader should be to destroy the Iranian dictatorship at this moment of its vulnerability. The time to act is now." And Jank, what you see here for me is the uniparty in Washington, the pro-regime change, the pro-military industrial complex, uniparty that has a stranglehold on our system.
Yeah, so that part is crystal clear. When Fetterman and Lindsey Graham and Newt Gingrich come out, and Fetterman's theoretically a Democrat and the other two are Republicans, and say we must bomb Iran now, they speak for Israel. They're Israeli sock puppets, totally indisputable, completely owned by the government of Israel. And they've gotten millions of dollars in donations from the Israeli lobby, and God knows what else they have on them. So whenever Fetterman is speaking or Lindsey Graham is speaking, that's the government of Israel that's speaking. So in fact, Lindsey Graham got new orders in the last 5 days before he was saying about the memorandum of understanding. No, we need to have it forever. That's the money we give to Israel, etc. This is a story for later in the show, but Netanyahu has a new strategy on the memorandum of understanding, and Lindsey Graham comes out immediately, changes his position from a couple of days ago, and is now spouting the new Netanyahu position. So there's not an inch of difference between Lindsey Graham and Netanyahu or Fetterman and Netanyahu. They basically work for him. They're pretending to be American senators. So that means Israel wants us to bomb, but that's not unclear. That's why I say that part is obvious. Israel always wants America to fight its wars for it, Iraq, all the other global war on terror supposedly, and now the Iran war. But at the same time, we have what I view to be a relatively organic regime change. Some of you guys agree about that. Some of you disagree. I'll read a couple of those comments in a sec. And so you have to separate out those two things. That's why I think that if you really do want an uprising against the Ayatollah, and you would love the idea of a democracy in the Middle East or Iran being free in any way, and you don't mean it as, oh yes, and of course controlled like a dog by Israel and walked around on a leash and humiliated daily, and you're a real person who cares about Iran, I don't think this is unclear either way, because you still wouldn't want bombings. Because the minute you drop a bomb and you start killing Iranian civilians, the Iranians are going to hate whoever's dropping the bombs. So if it looks like the protesters are on the side of the people dropping the bombs, they will lose credibility and not have a chance of winning. But again, Israel doesn't mind that at all, because their ideal situation is use the protests as an excuse to bomb Iran. Then they lose credibility. Wonderful, we didn't want them anyway. It looks like they might be real Iranians, and we don't want that. Then we go, oh, let's bring in this Shah, a former king, because that's the way to go. And that's their tell, guys. They go, oh, well, you don't want democracy in Iran, you don't want Iran to be free, oh, you like the Ayatollah, right? Typical neocon stuff, right? And then you go, no, I would love democracy. In fact, I think that if the protesters win, there should be an election right after. No way, we're gonna bring in the former king's son, okay? We're gonna get a new king and he's gonna work for Israel. I mean, yeah, sure, democracy, maybe 10 or 20 years later after our puppet runs the place and bleeds it dry, right? So no, bombing is a hell no. American intervention is a hell no, because if you want it, if you love that uprising, bombing would only make it less likely to succeed. And unless you're a dog for Israel, which is 90% of Washington, no one wants a puppet installed that then makes, again, humiliates the Iranian people on a daily basis and says you all have to work for Israel now, you all have to shut up and hate the Palestinians, and you declare yourselves terrorists, and et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the way that they've humiliated the people of UAE, Jordan, Egypt, et cetera, and their leaders totally work for Israel. If that happens to Iran, we're gonna have bigger blowback later. Oh yeah, that'll never happen. Like the last time we installed a Shah in Iran, and the blowback was what? Oh right, the Islamic Revolution, and that's how we got the Ayatollah. And Israel's new idea is let's bring the Shah's son back, so we could do that on steroids. No, you don't want that. That part is easy. All right, it's time for New Year's resolutions. We all make them, but I'm not making any big flashy resolutions that are gonna crash and burn by February. My reset is much simpler. It's about giving myself a break in the kitchen. Not by eating less, don't be crazy. But let's be honest, thinking about what to eat, shopping for it, cooking it, it's a drain. And when you're drained from cooking, you can't focus on the work that matters, and that's the work right here. That's where Cook Unity comes in. It's been my way of cheating. Like I have a personal chef. I'm very fancy that way, please. But without the insane cost. Restaurant quality meals on my schedule. So I ordered a bunch of things that I loved. So we got the pepperoni naan pizza. I love pepperoni pizza, I love naan. You put it together, it's genius. Golden chicken schnitzel. It's schnitzel, but it's golden. Okay, this stuff is all so good. New Orleans shrimp and grits. They have sausage in there too, love it. And that's my point, guys. These aren't boring and repetitive meals. These are all-star chefs, Food Network alum, and James Beard winners. Handpicking seasonal ingredients and balancing bold flavors with nutrition. Every meal is a small batch masterpiece delivered fresh, never frozen. It makes hitting wellness goals effortless because a nutritious, incredible meal is ready in minutes. No shopping, no cooking, no cleanup. You can browse by chef, by cuisine, filter macros to the gram, not a thing I would do, but you could. And it's way less than takeout or even grocery store prices. Plus their packaging is part of a reusable, eco-friendly program. You can't ask for more. Taste comfort and craftsmanship in every bite from the award-winning chefs behind Cook Unity. Go to cookunity.com/TYT or enter code TYT before checkout to get 50% off your first order. That's 50% off your first order by using code TYT or going to cookunity.com/TYT. Under no circumstances should we do an intervention, a military intervention in Iran. But what Israel wants, Israel gets, Jordan, as you know. So all of Washington, the Uniparty, et cetera, says war. So Trump there is being a tiny bit more honest than he was the first time around. Last time he was like, oh, I am the peace president. I can't wait to win an award from a soccer organization for being the peace president. So while I'm in the middle of peace negotiations, which are fake, and I never intended to work in the first place, I will use that as an excuse to bomb Iran exactly as Israel has ordered me to do. So this time around, he's saying, well, we could do peace, we could do negotiations, but we'll probably bomb them before that, because Bibi called me and he says he's gonna release the tapes, okay, or whatever the hell he said, I don't know. But Jordan, I mean, we live in an Alice in Wonderland situation where we bother to show you American politicians when they're not in control at all. The only tape we should run is of Netanyahu, and then we'll have our answer as to what's gonna actually happen.
Yeah, in no way. It's ludicrous when you take a second to think about it, that during this volatile moment in Iran and where you have precarious peace talks happening, purportedly, you have people screaming about bombing this country. In what way does that help? It's just their solution for everything. Lindsey Graham has never seen a country that he doesn't want to bomb. I mean, the guy is
Israel.
the most, I think, the most bloodthirsty warhawk in Congress. And of course, he's wanted this specifically for years. So of course, that's going to be his answer and his solution in what is a very delicate moment. In no way does this help, but it just shows how warped their minds are, that this is seen as a reasonable option among a menu of options. Just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, I just was saying caveat. Of course, there is one country that Lindsey Graham would be against bombing, and that's Israel, right? Under no circumstances, you could convince him to bomb South Carolina way quicker than you convince them to bomb Israel. So, anyways, we shouldn't bomb Israel. We shouldn't bomb South Carolina or any of these countries, which leads me to my final point. And you guys, look, a bunch of you wrote in. To be fair to you, I should give you the hearing that I was alluding to. YouTube member Oma315 said, as an Iranian American, things inside Iran are unreal, massacre. That's why they need to cut the internet, cell phone, and landlines. So that is definitely true. What we should do about it is a different question. Timmy D's on Super Chat has a different point of view. Says Western media won't talk about the women, children, and hundreds of police officers killed by the violent rioters or the millions of Iranians that have come out in support of the state, and they say CIA, CIA, CIA. Look, I don't know about that either, but I will say this: in any situation, there's always two sides in their domestic affairs of any country. So when people say, well, the entire Iranian people are on the side of the protesters, I wish that were true. My guess is that's not entirely right, that there is a significant fundamentalist electorate in Iran as well. Even they're suffering under inflation, et cetera, and not all of them agree with the regime, but some of them do. So it does get more complicated than that, and that's why the minute you drop the first bomb, the guys who are in favor of the regime get emboldened. They go, see, we told you. Democracy's a bad idea, and all these protesters are CIA and Mossad. We have to protect beloved Iran, and you empower them the minute the first bomb lands. But instead, we get garbage in our media about how, like in Iraq, we were promised that we will be greeted as liberators. That definitely will not happen. That's a talking point of neocons, pure propaganda to get you into a war, none of which, of course, that they will fight. And that gets to the main point that all of you have been making, and which I'll read during the social break, of saying, yeah, how about here? How about here in America? I just talked to a bunch of people when I was out and about in Vegas, real people, and they're saying, look, man, we can't pay the bills. This is not like other times. We cannot pay the frickin' bills. And they couldn't care less about Iran. And honestly, even in a good way, like, oh, we'd like to help democracy in Iran, I guess, right? But I don't have time for that because I can't pay the rent, let alone killing, fishermen off the coast of Venezuela and doing all this nonsense stuff. But as soon as the president gets into office, both Biden and Trump, all of your concerns gone, out the window, and the only debate they're having is which country to attack, which country to invade, and usually on behalf of a different government. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.